Have you ever found yourself skipping meals or avoiding certain foods simply because they're too difficult to chew? If this sounds familiar, you're not alone. Many people in their mid-70s and beyond discover that the foods they used to enjoy become harder on their teeth and gums. And protein-rich foods are often the first to get crossed off the menu. This shift can feel like a minor inconvenience at first. Maybe you just pass on the steak or opt for something softer, but over time it can lead to a bigger problem. Protein is vital for maintaining muscle mass, supporting your immune system, and keeping your energy levels steady. When seniors don't get enough high-quality protein, the body can weaken, making daily tasks feel more strenuous. And here's a truth that often goes overlooked. Losing muscle strength doesn't just affect how you move. It can also take a toll on your confidence and overall outlook on life. There's a reason dental challenges after 75 demand a little more attention than we might expect. Gums can recede, teeth can become more fragile, and dentures, if you have them, don't always provide the same comfort or chewing efficiency as natural teeth. The result is that many older adults find themselves gravitating toward foods that are easy on the mouth, but not necessarily nutritious. This can set off a cycle where reduced nutrition leads to lower energy, which in turn makes it tougher to shop, cook, and even eat well. Addressing this issue head-on matters because staying well-nourished helps you remain independent, reduces the risk of certain illnesses, and keeps your vitality where you want it. Imagine waking up each day feeling a bit more confident, knowing you can enjoy a satisfying meal that gives your body what it truly needs. What if, instead of giving up on high-protein foods because they're too chewy, you discovered simple, easy-to-chew alternatives that pack the same nutritional punch? Contrary to the common assumption that soft foods must be bland or lacking in nourishment, there are plenty of proteins that fit comfortably into a senior-friendly meal plan. By learning about these options, you could find yourself enjoying flavorful meals that are kind to your teeth and gums. In the next few minutes, we'll explore 6 of the best easy-to-chew proteins for adults over 75, with tips on how to prepare them so they're both tasty and gentle on sensitive mouths. Along the way, you'll hear about everyday seniors who found ways to stay strong and healthy even when dental issues threaten to derail their well-being. The goal here isn't just to offer a list of foods, it's to help you see the powerful connection between proper nutrition and living life on your terms. When you're fueling your body correctly, you have a better shot at sustaining physical strength, keeping up with your hobbies, and nurturing your emotional wellness. After all, mealtime isn't just about getting calories. It's a chance to savor life's simple pleasures and maintain a sense of normalcy. Here you'll learn how to make small adjustments to your menu that can yield meaningful improvements in how you feel, move, and even relate to others. I'm not a medical professional, so always consult with your healthcare provider or dentist about major dietary changes, especially if you're dealing with serious dental concerns or other health conditions. Still, I've gathered insights from nutrition experts, seniors who've successfully adapted their eating habits, and emerging research that highlights how crucial protein is for older adults. My hope is that these ideas will spark a sense of possibility for you, reminding you that it's never too late to make a positive change, especially when it comes to something as central to our lives as food. Before we dive into the specific proteins, here's a small invitation. Think about your own daily routines. Do you sometimes skip meals or opt for snacks that offer little nutrition? If so, consider jotting down any initial thoughts or questions that come to mind about improving your protein intake. Engaging in this process now can make the upcoming information feel more personal and actionable. By the end of our time together, you'll be equipped with a fresh perspective, a handful of new meal ideas, and the encouraging knowledge that dental issues don't have to stand in the way of enjoying a strong, vibrant life. Let's start exploring one easy-to-chew protein at a time. Soft-cooked eggs. Aren't eggs just for breakfast? You might have heard that eggs are a morning staple and should be limited to just a few times a week if you're watching your cholesterol. But that assumption is slowly being challenged. Many seniors think that eggs aren't the best choice if they have concerns about high cholesterol or heart health. Yet for most people, moderate egg consumption can be part of a healthy eating plan. And if you're concerned about chewing tougher proteins, Eggs might be one of the most versatile and senior-friendly foods around. Consider Joyce, who's 77 and recently got new dentures. She found that biting into lean meats, even when finely sliced, was exhausting. She also worried that hard-to-chew meats would upset her gums. After a chat with her dentist, Joyce decided to experiment with soft-cooked eggs. She began having a poached or softly scrambled egg at lunchtime, a meal she used to reserve for a sandwich or leftover chicken. In just a few weeks, Joyce noticed she had more energy in the afternoons, and her gums felt less irritated. Eggs became a go-to solution for her protein needs, and she no longer dreaded meal prep because cooking eggs was quick and easy. Current nutritional insights suggest that eggs are a near-perfect protein source, containing essential amino acids that the body needs for everything from building muscle to supporting brain function. Eggs also contain vitamins like B12, which supports nerve health, a big consideration for seniors. And let's not forget the beneficial fats in the yolk, which can aid in nutrient absorption. If your dentist or doctor hasn't flagged eggs as an issue for you, then having them a few times a week can be a simple way to boost protein without straining your jaw. If you'd like to give this idea a try, start by experimenting with different cooking methods. Soft scrambled eggs and poached eggs usually demand less chewing. You can also make a soft boiled egg, scoop out the contents and spread it on a piece of whole grain toast or a cracker that won't be too harsh on your teeth. To reduce the cholesterol concern, some people mix one whole egg with extra egg whites. You still get a nice flavor and plenty of protein. Also think about adding vegetables like cooked spinach or diced tomatoes. Soft cooked veggies can be gently folded in, amping up the nutrient content and flavor. From a physical standpoint, incorporating eggs regularly can help maintain muscle mass, a critical factor in preventing falls and preserving mobility. Emotionally, it's empowering to enjoy a meal that feels light and easy yet meets your nutritional needs. It can reduce that undercurrent of worry many older adults have about whether they're getting enough protein. And something as straightforward as a warm, savory egg dish can turn into a small moment of comfort. Before you move on with your day, ask yourself, have you been limiting eggs out of habit or misconceptions? Would an egg-based meal feel like a treat rather than a chore? Now let's transition to another underappreciated protein source that offers a smooth texture and plenty of nutrition, perfect for when chewing is a challenge. When people think of soft protein, the typical assumption is that dairy is too rich or lacking in the hearty substance of a real meal. It's also a common misconception that foods like cottage cheese or ricotta can't stand on their own as protein sources. They're often treated as side items or dessert ingredients. However, these soft cheeses can be real powerhouses, especially if you're trying to balance nutrition with gentle chewing. Many seniors skip these options because they believe dairy might upset their stomach or because they worry about lactose intolerance. Yet there's a wide range of low lactose or lactose-free versions that can be just as smooth and tasty, so it's worth taking a second look. Meet Charles, 82, who was never particularly fond of dairy products. He grew up in a household where cottage cheese was considered a diet food for people trying to lose weight. In his mind, it wasn't something a robust older adult would find satisfying. But after noticing he was losing some muscle tone and struggling to maintain weight, Charles's doctor suggested upping his protein intake, especially in the morning. Charles started adding a small bowl of cottage cheese to his breakfast routine, sometimes topping it with fresh fruit or a drizzle of honey. Soon he realized he felt fuller throughout the day, and his energy levels were more stable. Even his grandkids noted he was more energetic on their afternoon visits. Soft cheeses like cottage cheese and ricotta don't require much chewing at all, perfect for sensitive teeth or gums. They're also an excellent source of casein protein, which digests slowly to help keep you satiated. Cottage cheese, in particular, can offer a significant amount of protein per serving, often rivaling or surpassing a serving of lean meat. Ricotta has a creamier texture and can be just as beneficial for muscle maintenance, thanks to its rich protein content. If you find the taste a bit bland, try mixing in some soft, well-cooked vegetables or blending in herbs like chives and dill. You can also incorporate these cheeses into other dishes, a dollop in a soft omelet or stirred into a smooth soup for extra protein. Another bonus? Cottage cheese and ricotta are often more budget-friendly compared to many meats or specialty protein powders. They can be easily stored in the fridge, making them convenient for seniors who may only want to prepare small meals without dealing with a lot of leftovers. Beyond the physical benefits of adding high-quality protein, there's an emotional relief in knowing you have a quick, easy option at your disposal. Rather than wrestle with a tough piece of steak or skip protein altogether, you can open the fridge and scoop out a ready-to-eat solution. Practical tips: look for brands labeled low sodium if you're watching your salt intake. Also, ask your doctor or a nutrition specialist about lactose-free versions if you suspect or know you have sensitivity to lactose. It might take some experimentation to find the right product, but once you do, you'll have an easy staple in your meal rotation. Now that we've explored eggs and soft cheeses, how are you feeling about incorporating these gentle proteins? Is there one you're more inclined to try first? Keep these thoughts in mind as we explore more ways to keep your muscles strong without putting undue stress on your teeth or gums. Next, let's dive into an option from the sea that can be surprisingly easy to chew. At this point, you might be thinking, fish? Isn't fish sometimes tough, especially if it's overcooked? That's a fair concern. Many older adults assume fish must be grilled or baked to a firm texture, which can be a challenge for sensitive mouths. But flaked fish, particularly varieties like cod, haddock, or even salmon, can be prepared to almost melt in your mouth if done correctly. One of the biggest misconceptions is that fish demands gourmet-level cooking skills or fancy equipment to be both tender and flavorful. The reality is that simple methods and the right seasoning can transform fish into a protein source that's not only easy on the jaw, but also rich in nutrients like omega-3 fatty acids. Evelyn, who's 78, spent most of her life avoiding seafood because she believed it had a strong smell and was hard to prepare. She also had partial dentures fitted a few years back and worried that she wouldn't be able to manage the texture of fish. Then her local senior center hosted a cooking demonstration focused on heart-healthy meals. The chef demonstrated how to gently poach cod in a flavorful broth and then flake it onto a bed of mashed sweet potatoes. Intrigued by how soft and tasty it looked, Evelyn decided to try it at home. She discovered she could make a simple poaching liquid with water, a splash of lemon juice and herbs, and within minutes have fish so tender it practically fell apart. Adding a drizzle of olive oil on top gave it a smooth, savory finish. From a nutritional standpoint, many fish varieties provide high-quality protein and healthy fats that support heart and brain health. Omega-3 fatty acids in particular have been linked with various benefits, such as reducing inflammation in the body. For seniors who want to keep their hearts in good shape or manage joint pain, fish can be a valuable addition to the diet. Plus, flaked fish is often easier to swallow, which can be a relief if you're also dealing with a tendency to choke or cough on drier, tougher foods. If you'd like to get started, choose fish that's known for its mild taste and flaky texture, like sole, tilapia, or cod, if you're new to seafood. You can steam, bake, or poach the fish, being careful not to overcook it. After it's done, use a fork to separate it into small flakes. Pair it with soft sides, mashed potatoes, creamed spinach, or cooked carrots. If you prefer bolder flavors, add herbs like dill or basil, or a gentle lemon butter sauce if your diet allows. There's something about a well-prepared fish dish that can feel both light and indulgent. One emotional benefit to consider is variety. If you've been sticking to the same few proteins, maybe ground meat or canned soups, introducing fish can add excitement to your meal routine. Variety helps ward off the sense of monotony that can creep in, especially if eating has become more about convenience than enjoyment. Each flavorful bite of tender fish can remind you that being mindful of dental challenges doesn't have to mean sacrificing taste. Having made it through 3 protein-packed options, let's pause for a moment. Which idea, eggs, soft cheeses, or flaked fish, sounds most appealing for your next meal? Feel free to note it down or share with a friend. Sometimes talking about these options can stir up new ideas and keep you motivated to try something different. Now let's transition to another classic protein that can be made tender and delicious with the right approach. When you think of ground meat, does your mind automatically jump to burgers or heavier dishes you might see at a summer cookout? One common misconception is that ground meat is often greasy or unhealthy. Some seniors worry that it's too fatty or loaded with fillers if they buy it prepackaged. However, lean ground meats like turkey, chicken, or lean beef can be shaped into soft, moist forms such as meatloaf or meatballs. Prepared properly, these can be very gentle on the teeth and gums. Thomas, 80, had a complicated relationship with beef. He enjoyed the taste but found that chewing tougher cuts became painful after he had a couple of dental implants. He resisted the idea of switching to ground meat because he felt it lacked sophistication. He recalled the days of prime rib and steak nights that marked special occasions. But as he researched ways to continue enjoying beef in his older years, he came across a simple meatloaf recipe designed for those with chewing difficulties. The mixture included lean ground beef, finely chopped onions and carrots, sautéed until soft, and breadcrumbs soaked in milk to create a moist texture. The result was a tender, sliceable loaf that didn't strain his jaw. Thomas was delighted, not only with how it tasted, but also because it reignited his connection to a food he thought he'd lost. From a nutritional standpoint, choosing lean ground meats lets you maintain protein intake for muscle support and immunity. Protein is also key for wound healing, a relevant factor if you're dealing with any dental procedures or surgeries. If red meat is a concern for cholesterol or heart health, ground turkey or chicken can be lower in saturated fats while still supplying plenty of protein and essential vitamins. Also, ground meat is easy to cook in batches, meaning you can freeze part of it for quick meals later. A plus for seniors who want to reduce the frequency of cooking. To get the best out of ground meats without overworking your jaw, focus on moisture. Add broth, milk-soaked breadcrumbs, or finely diced vegetables to your recipe. Seasonings like garlic powder, paprika, and a touch of salt and pepper can bring in flavor. Baking or slow cooking your ground meat mixture helps it remain soft. You can even prepare small meatballs in a sauce or soup, offering a blend of liquids and proteins that goes down smoothly. Just remember to talk to a healthcare professional if you have specific dietary restrictions regarding salt or fat content. Emotionally, being able to enjoy a comfort food like meatloaf or tender meatballs can reconnect you with fond memories, family dinners, holiday gatherings, or even the simple satisfaction of a hearty meal. It offers a sense of continuity, reminding you that, although your body's needs may have changed, you can still find ways to savor traditional favorites. And that sense of normalcy can be a potent mood booster. Now that we've covered 4 different proteins, it might be a good time to check in with yourself again. Have any of these ideas sparked your imagination? Are there family recipes you could adapt to be gentler on your teeth and gums? Sharing that inspiration with someone can double your motivation to give these easy-to-chew proteins a try. Let's keep going. Up next, we'll talk about a plant-based option that's often overlooked, but can be surprisingly nourishing and gentle on the mouth. Beans? Aren't they hard to chew and even harder to digest? That's a question many seniors pose when the topic of legumes comes up. We often picture beans in hearty, chunky stews or lentils in thick curries, which might feel daunting if you're worried about chewing. Another common misconception is that plant-based proteins aren't complete or powerful enough to support muscle maintenance. However, lentils and beans, especially when properly prepared, can be incredibly soft, versatile, and nutrient-dense. And yes, while some legumes may need more thorough cooking or a bit of blending, the payoff can be substantial. They're packed with fiber, vitamins, and minerals, and they can help stabilize blood sugar levels. Take Nancy, 76, who struggled with IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, and assumed beans would only exacerbate her digestive issues. Her nutrition counselor explained that soaking beans overnight and cooking them thoroughly can greatly reduce the compounds that lead to gas and discomfort. Hesitant but open-minded, Nancy tried a simple lentil soup recipe that involves simmering split lentils with vegetable broth, onions, carrots, and celery, all cooked to a very soft texture. She then used an immersion blender to create a smoother consistency. Much to her surprise, the soup was both gentle on her stomach and satisfying. Her dentist had recently recommended a soft food diet due to gum sensitivity, and Nancy found that pured lentils fit the bill perfectly, giving her the protein boost she needed. From a nutrition standpoint, lentils, black beans, navy beans, and similar legumes offer plant-based protein that helps build and repair tissues. While they may not be complete proteins on their own, combining them with grains like rice or barley can supply the full range of essential amino acids. The fiber content is also beneficial for seniors who may experience slower digestion, helping keep bowel movements regular. Fiber's role in heart health, weight management, and even blood sugar regulation makes legumes a valuable addition to most senior diets. Practical advice: to ensure a soft texture, soak dry beans overnight or buy canned beans labeled low sodium. Then cook or simmer them until they're very tender. If you're sensitive to chunks, use a blender or food processor to achieve the consistency you prefer. For lentils, red and yellow lentils break down faster when cooked, often resulting in a mushy texture that requires minimal chewing. Adding a splash of olive oil or a soft cheese like ricotta can boost the creamy factor while also enhancing flavor. Beyond the physical benefits, legumes can open doors to new culinary experiences. Many cultures have dishes that feature beans or lentils as a main protein, offering flavors that might bring a sense of adventure or nostalgia. Whether it's a pureed lentil soup reminiscent of a Mediterranean dish or a mild chili with soft beans, you might find yourself discovering tastes and textures you never thought possible. Are you ready for a little engagement prompt? If you've been feeling stuck in a rut with your diet, think about the last new recipe you tried. Was it months ago? Years ago? Maybe this is your chance to experiment. Write down one legume-based dish you've heard of or had in the past but never tried making yourself. It could be something as simple as a pureed lentil soup. This small step could set you on a path to enjoying more diverse, easy-to-chew meals. We're almost at the end of our exploration. Let's move on to our sixth and final protein option, a plant-based choice that many seniors have yet to consider. When people hear tofu or tempeh, they might imagine exotic vegan recipes or think these foods are strictly for younger health enthusiasts. Another common misconception is that tofu has no flavor on its own, or that tempeh is too dense to chew comfortably. In reality, these soy-based proteins can be prepared in a variety of textures, ranging from silken tofu, which is so soft you can scoop it with a spoon, to tempeh that can be crumbled into bite-sized pieces. If you're dealing with chewing problems or dentures, tofu especially can be an excellent choice, offering a smooth consistency that's very easy on the gums. Arnold, 79, had never considered tofu. He associated soy products with vegetarian diets, believing that real protein had to come from meat. But after a minor dental surgery, Arnold needed foods that wouldn't stress his stitches. A neighbor brought over a tofu and vegetable stir-fry, where the tofu was cut into small cubes and lightly pan-fried until it was just golden and still tender. Expecting a bland meal, Arnold was shocked at how flavorful it was. The tofu absorbed the sauce's seasonings, offering a rich taste without requiring much chewing at all. As he recovered, Arnold continued to experiment, trying silken tofu in soups and even in a protein-packed smoothie. Nutritionally, tofu is a complete protein source containing all the essential amino acids. It also provides minerals like calcium and iron, both critical nutrients as we age. Tempeh, made from fermented soybeans, has a firmer texture but can be crumbled or sliced thin. Fermentation may offer additional digestive benefits, making some of the nutrients more bioavailable. Plus, soy products often come fortified with calcium, which is beneficial for bone health. If you're concerned about potential hormonal effects, it's worth discussing with a healthcare professional. But moderate soy consumption is generally considered safe for most seniors. To prepare tofu, start with varieties labeled as soft or silken for soups, smoothies, or even desserts. If you want a bit more substance, firm tofu can be gently pan-fried or baked until it's warm and still tender. Consider marinating tofu in mild sauces like teriyaki or a simple blend of olive oil, garlic, and herbs. For tempeh, steaming it before adding to dishes can soften its texture. You can then crumble it into small pieces or slice it very thinly, adding it to soups, soft tacos, or casseroles. The key is to remember that tofu and tempeh act like flavor sponges. Whatever seasoning or sauce you use, they'll soak it up. From an emotional standpoint, trying tofu or tempeh can help you break out of a meal cycle that might feel repetitive. It's a gentle way to reintroduce novelty into your diet. And feeling open to experimenting can foster a sense of resilience and curiosity, qualities that serve us well at any age. The act of trying something new, especially if you've held assumptions about it, can also be empowering, reminding you that you can still adapt and discover, no matter what stage of life you're in. We've now covered 6 easy-to-chew proteins: eggs, soft cheeses, flaked fish, ground meat, lentils and beans, and tofu or tempeh. Each one challenges the notion that dental issues must limit your access to high-quality nutrition. Rather, they show that the culinary world remains wide open to you as long as you're willing to experiment and adapt. Before we wrap up, let's take a moment to think about what we've discussed. Which of these protein sources resonates with you the most? Is there a specific recipe you can't wait to try? Making a mental note or jotting down a few ideas can help you move from thinking about changes to actually implementing them in your next meal plan. Here's to keeping our bodies strong and our spirits flexible, even when dental challenges arise. It's amazing to reflect on how much flexibility we truly have in our diets if we're willing to get creative. Whether it's whipping up soft scrambled eggs, savoring a spoonful of creamy cottage cheese, or flaking tender fish onto a bed of mashed potatoes, you have a wide range of protein options that don't require you to fight through tough textures. The key takeaway is that dental issues don't have to dominate your dietary choices. By learning to adapt your meal plan, you can maintain muscle strength, boost your immune system, and enjoy a rich variety of flavors. Of course, there's a sense of urgency here, but it doesn't have to be frightening. Our bodies become more sensitive to nutrient gaps as we grow older, and inadequate protein intake can accelerate muscle loss, reduce stamina, and even compromise recovery from injuries or surgeries. The good news is that by addressing these challenges now, you're giving yourself the best chance to stay active, maintain independence, and preserve the joy that comes from sharing meals with friends and family. Think about how different life could be if, a month from now, you feel stronger and more energized simply because you switched up your approach to eating. Picture your everyday routine. Maybe it's a leisurely morning where instead of feeling tired or lightheaded, you have a nourishing breakfast that sets you up for a day full of possibilities. Perhaps you look forward to an afternoon of tending to your garden, or an evening spent video chatting with your grandchildren, activities that require a sense of vitality and mental focus. By implementing some of the strategies you've heard here, you're not just making a meal choice, you're reshaping your experience of aging. A few small tweaks in your daily diet could mean fewer instances of fatigue, improved digestion, and even a brighter mood when you wake up. I invite you to take that first manageable step. Maybe your call to action is as simple as adding an egg-based meal this week, or perhaps you'll pick up some canned lentils and experiment with a new soup recipe. If you're feeling more adventurous, maybe you'll look for tofu in the grocery aisle and give a gentle stir-fry a try. For those wanting to go deeper, consider talking with a nutritionist or your dentist about your protein intake and any specific concerns. You might also explore local cooking classes or look online for senior-focused meal plans that feature softer foods. And if you're really motivated, consider sharing your journey with friends in your community. Start a little recipe exchange or even host a potluck featuring easy-to-chew dishes. Above all, remember that you are in the driver's seat when it comes to your health choices. While aging can introduce new challenges, it also brings a wealth of wisdom and resilience. You know your body and preferences better than anyone else. By focusing on easy-to-chew proteins, you're choosing to honor your body's current needs without relinquishing the enjoyment and nourishment that good food can provide. Here's one final thought. Each meal is an opportunity to care for yourself. Food isn't just about filling the stomach. It's about fueling the heart, mind, and soul. As you try these recommendations, let yourself savor each bite, confident in the knowledge that you're giving your body what it needs to keep thriving. You have the power to remain strong and resilient, no matter your age or dental challenges. Embrace that power, and may your meals be both delicious and empowering in the days ahead.